Hello, my beautiful cuddlebugs. Welcome to Ramblings of a Book Dragon, where we dive into the warmth of good books and unravel stories that feel like a literary hug. I'm Allie, your host, and I'm thrilled to embark on another cozy adventure with you. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, snuggle into your cozy reading nook, and let's begin. But before we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe so that you won't miss a single podcast episode. I really value your feedback and book recommendations. Now let's begin with today's episode. Hello, my beautiful cuddlebugs. Today I'm going to go in a slightly different direction by talking about a musical, what I haven't talked about one in a while, so here we go. And it is about Epic the Musical. It is a work in progress written by Jorge Rivera-Herrans, nailed it. And it is a work in progress that is loosely based on the Odyssey. It is really, really good so far. I fell in love with it, I think, last year, and it is currently being written. I was going to post a review about it last month since he mentioned that he was going to do the final saga for Act 1, The Underworld. I should wait, listen to it, absolutely plots, and then talk about the entire musicals that we have so far. So Epic is loosely based on the Odyssey, and what I think is really brilliant is that he's been releasing the songs in sagas. So Saga 1 is the Troy Saga, and then we have the Cyclops Saga, the Ocean Saga, Circe Saga, and finally the Underworld Saga, which finishes off Act 1. And he really does a great job of building up that hype. He was starting to post on TikTok, and then he started writing it in 2019, and then in 2021 he posted his first TikTok, and it's just been gradually growing more and more from there. Like the Underworld Saga passed 2 million streams on Spotify in the first 15 hours, something like that. And that is just incredible. And it's really, really all the accolades. I feel like this is going to be the next Hamilton, or even, in my humble opinion, on the same level or bigger than Hamilton, because it's about the Odyssey. It's loosely based on that. And so Jorge, he is both the singer and the songwriter. He plays Odysseus, and we're just following the sagas and we're following the information. So it starts off in Troy at the end of the Trojan War. What I really like about Epic is everything about Epic is epic. From the music, the words, everything. It just builds up. It just is continuing. And he really delves deep into the music of giving little hints of things that are happening, following those certain wavelengths. Like the beginning of Troy Saga, with the horse and the infant, we're getting this bit of info. We're getting this initial piece of music. And then for the final song of Act 1, which is Monster, we get that same little bit. And so I thought that was really interesting. But for those who don't know, the Odyssey is after the end of the Trojan War, and it's following Odysseus and his men as they try to get home. And the Troys and each saga takes us into a different place. So we start off in Troy at the end of the Trojan War, when they're just tired they want to get home. They're feeling very upbeat and excited about being able to get home, and then all hell breaks loose in the Cyclops Saga. And one thing that I think is very interesting is one of the questions with this musical is a duality of mercy versus ruthlessness. With the Cyclops, because the Cyclops killed some of his men, because Odysseus and his men killed some of the sheep because they were needing food, because there's 600 men who are needing to get home. The Cyclops, it kills some of them, and so to get out before the Cyclops falls asleep, because he gave him wine that had this lotus seed but the Cyclops doesn't know. He wounds the Cyclops. And that's when hell really breaks loose, because we find out that the Cyclops is the son of Poseidon. But what I found really interesting, and I mean, this is probably just a complete and total idiotic thought on my end. Please let me know what you think. But they talk about the ruthlessness of killing your enemies, that Odysseus and his men showed mercy to the Cyclops by not killing him. But they blinded him And the Cyclops' siblings, brothers, whoever, they're like, oh, you don't know who blinded you? Well, who needs you? So I would think that it would actually be a bit crueler because we don't know what kind of lives the Cyclopses have. We don't know, but I would imagine that they're kind of more along the lines of you take care of yourself, you need to feed yourself, and having a Cyclops who is completely blind, I think that, and leaving him alive to fend for himself and all the sheep are gone, I would think that would actually be more cruel because it didn't seem like his siblings actually cared that much. And Poseidon is more pissed off that he just didn't just kill his own son over anything else. And so that's just my thought with that, is that it was more of a cruelty. But then that's kind of part of what one of the questions is, what does it take to get home? When does a man become a monster? That is one of the questions that we get in Just a Man, and then at the end of Act 1 with Monster. When does a man become a monster? How can you get home with mercy? Can you show mercy and still manage to get alive, or do you have to be ruthless? And we actually do get a couple of acts of mercy throughout the show, like with in the fourth act. I mean, when we get to the Circe saga, Circe shows them mercy by turning the men from pigs back to men because she is rightfully pissed that these random men come, and she's protecting herself and her nymphs because of previous acts. Circe by Madeline Miller did a really great job of showing all of that, and I read it last year, so I want to reread it again because it's really, really good. But I thought that was really interesting that we have those dualities of mercy versus ruthlessness, and that's one of Poseidon's big things, and he seems to be the arch enemy of the musical. But that's not all that we're here for. We're here to also talk about the Underworld saga, which was just released yesterday. I listened to it about 1,000,000 times and was absolutely plotzing. And because in the Underworld saga, we get to meet Tiresias, who is singing, because he's supposed to be able to tell Odysseus, get home. And he is blind, and he's a prophet. Yeah, he's a prophet. And he is dead, so they have to go to the Underworld saga. And what was really interesting with that as well is it doesn't sound like, they've just been going this entire time, from the Trojan War of 10 years to meeting the Cyclops and some of the men dying, to the Ocean saga when they meet Aeolus to try to get some wind, to try to get out of a storm, to try to get home, and then they meet Poseidon, who kills a great big number of the men. Like 558 men die after meeting Poseidon because of the waves, just to show that he can. Then to the Circe saga, where only one man dies, but that's because he got drunk and fell off the roof. But it's just very, very interesting, I think, that with everything. But we start off with the Underworld song, and they're forced to think about the past, to see the dead. And I think that was really interesting because I would imagine that they have a lot of PTSD going on there, but they're kind of just in fight or flight. They're just in survival mode right now. So with going into the Underworld, I don't know how long it takes for them to find Tiresias in the Underworld or anything like that. I'm sure it's in the Odyssey, but I don't know what that length of time is. So to kind of force them to sit back, see the souls of the dead, see poor baby Polites. Oh, he's such a sweetie, and he was killed by the Cyclops. And to meet his mom, that ripped my heart out when I heard all that. But it was very, very good. The song is really, really good. I highly recommend it. And then we get into No Longer You with Tiresias. And he's kind of, I think it was really well done with the whole, him kind of letting him know, like, oh, this is a different man that's going back home. He's kind of saying it without saying it and kind of hinting at it in a really roundabout way. And that was part of what I really like with the way that Jorge does all this, is the way that he wordsmiths. It just fits so perfectly in my brain, from the wordsmithing to the music. it's just so, it just scratches that brain itch, you know? And then at the end of Act 1, we get to Monster. And what I really liked was that at the end of No Longer You, there's this buildup of music, and it kind of reminded me of in the movies when the villain makes his grand when someone becomes a villain, like, and when they have that switch and they step out in their villain's clothing, it kind of gave me that vibe with before we get into Monster. And he's like, what does it take? And we get a nice little bit of information about the rest of the saga before that point of talking about all of the different things that happened. And did these people have to do this? Though, in my opinion, Cersei is the least monstrous of them all, mainly because she was protecting herself and her nymphs, and then she didn't kill the men. She let them go, and she even helped them. So, I don't know, but that's beside the point. She's a monster for turning them into pigs in the first place. I get it. I completely get it. History is written by the winners. Totally get it. So that's what I found to be really fun with that, is like just listening to him devolve and kind of talk himself into realizing, hey, I need to get myself and the rest of my men home. And if I have to do these same acts again, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a monster. I don't care. I don't give an F. It just was so well done. It was just perfect. Just really scratches that brain itch, which is why I think this is going to be, when it gets to Broadway or whatever he winds up deciding to do, it is going to, I can't wait. Highly recommend it. We have so much more left to go with this. We still have Act 2. Who knows when Act 2 is going to start coming out with the Thunder Saga. We have Thunder Saga, Wisdom Saga, Vengeance Saga, and the Ithaca Saga, and then that's going to finish off the show. I'm really excited about Little Wolf and God Games, and really also Get in the Water. All of the songs are all going to be fun, I think. My favorite songs from Act 1 so far are Horse and the Infant, Warrior of the Mind, Remember Them, Ruthlessness, Done For, and Monster. I think, well, all of the Underworld Saga was really, really good, even though it ripped my heart out and stomped on it after a week of reading another book that ripped my heart out and stomped on it. So it was all in the best ways possible, I think, and I do need to do my review of the book that ripped my heart out and stomped on it, because it was really, really good. It really made me think, which is good. You know, we can't be dingbats the entire time. It's been so wonderful, and then seeing it grow. And what I really like, one last little bit, is if you check his past videos on TikTok, or now that TikTok is in the process of being banned, like if you go to YouTube, you can watch those bits. And I really like that fact that we're getting inside that mindset. It's kind of that parasocial relationship that we're always talking about with influencers and all that, but I don't know. But it's just interesting to get into the mindset and to kind of be part of that journey. I don't know how it is with other musicals that are written. I think that this is kind of a new concept, really, that it may potentially be a fan-backed production. And I don't know how that works with Broadway. I don't know how this is going to translate onto the stage. That's all going to be really, really exciting to be a part of, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. But again, check it out. Let me know what you think. You will love it if you love musical theater, and if you loved Hamilton, you are going to love Epic the Musical. That's my opinion. Big thank you to all you beautiful cuddlebugs for joining me on this literary escapade. Until next time, keep snuggling with those books and spreading the cozy vibes. Happy reading, my lovely cuddlebugs, and I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye!